Hello everyone, I'm Basilia for 5 Foot Nomad and welcome to my channel. For all of you who watch my videos, I just want to say thank you so much for your support. And if you're new to this channel, I share content about the digital nomad lifestyle, traveling the world, my experiences in the places that I've visited to help you make an informed decision based on where you can relocate to or do your digital nomad lifestyle in, right? So guys, if you notice that, my background is different, it's because I bought an apartment in Montenegro. I mean, it's been a crazy, exciting journey. So how did I go about it? What was the experience like? I'm going to be sharing all of that in this video and giving you some tips in case you're interested in, moving here and probably purchasing a property here. Maybe you will find this video useful for you. So let's dive right in, guys. So I've lived in Montenegro since June 2021 and I came here on vacation actually. I didn't come here saying, oh, I'm moving here. Like I came with one luggage, I and my husband, we came here. We're like, okay, we're coming on vacation. And once I got here, I'm like, okay, I'm not leaving. And I've been here since. And we moved here from Israel. It's a long story. I feel like I haven't made videos about my experience of living in Israel for 13 months. So I'm gonna make that in the next few weeks because it was a pretty interesting and crazy experience. But yeah, let's not deviate from that. So yes, we've lived here now for more than a year, almost 2 years. And, we decided, okay, we're gonna settle here. And we bought an apartment, in August of last year, 2022. And it's a 99-meter square apartment, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, downtown of Podgorica. Like it was literally a steal because I mean, it's a nice building downtown and it's been built for like 5 years. It was built 5 years ago. And the apartment that we got, no one has moved in ever. So it's like from construction. So that was a good thing on the side of, oh my God, my first apartment, then I get to launch the toilet bowl and not use the toilet bowl of someone else. But on the other hand, it's like, okay, it's fresh out of the box, no kitchen, we have to install everything. So that was a whole journey in itself. So yeah, so purchasing a property here in Montenegro is pretty straightforward. I feel like it's like standard in other countries. It's pretty straightforward. And I feel like the most important tip that I can give if you're looking to purchase a property here when you move here is to live here for minimum 6 to 12 months before you make that decision to buy a property and you decide, okay, I've been here long enough, I want to purchase a property. Then you just go online to the websites that you can find properties in, whether it's a house or an apartment. You search online. If you see properties that catch your eye that you would love to view, then you contact the agent. Sometimes it's not an agent that puts the posting out, but the seller directly. So in that case, you contact them, but most often it's the agent. So you contact the agent, you go for the viewing. If you like it and it meets the standards that you want based on your preference for location, for number of bedrooms, size, and all of the criteria that you can use in deciding if it's for you or not. If you like it, then you let the agent know. If you don't like it, then you can let the agent know and say, look, this is what I'm looking for. Maybe there's something that's on those websites that you can find me, because that's actually how we found this apartment. Like we were looking at something else. When we got there, it wasn't really what we wanted. And then the agent was like, oh, there's something that I think you might like, because where we were renting before, the very nice luxury apartment that we had before, it was the same agent that helped us rent it. So he already has an idea that we like, nicer style and more modern and things. So he showed us this apartment that we just bought and we were like, okay, this is good. Location is perfect. There's a river right in front of my window. Like every window has a different view. Like there's a river from my view from the window. There's mountain view from the other windows. It's like perfect in that sense. So when you see the property that you like, then you say, okay, I'm ready to buy this. And it's important that you know that if you're buying an apartment, it's easier in the sense of it's legalized, everything's in order most of the time. But if you're buying a house, it's important that you check to see that the property is legal, because a lot of houses are not legal or legalized. And when I say that, it means that this property is built in a place that's they're probably not supposed to be in, and they're probably not registered with the government. So you don't want to buy a property and realize, oh shit, it's not on the map, like registered with the government, and it's like you own something that's not legal, right? So I feel like that's the first tip that I can provide. If you're considering buying a house and not an apartment, you should make sure that you ask the agent if it's legalized or legal, and he needs to, provide proof for you, and not just like, oh yeah, we'll figure it out. It's gonna be legalized next month. When they say that, know that it's not gonna happen in the next 2 years, and you don't want to be dealing with that whole process, right? So yeah, when you see the property and you say, okay, this is what I want, then the agent will tell the seller, and then you guys have a meeting with a notary, okay? Notaries serve as the mediator between you as the buyer and the seller and the agent, right? So you, the seller, the agent, you go to the notary's office, you talk about the terms and everything that's going on with the property. The notary will help you find out if there's any issues like unpaid bills, or if someone else owns the property and then this is someone else trying to sell it, and just basically to make sure that everything's done in a very kosher way, right? And so, if everything's okay, then the notary will create the contract based on the terms and condition that works for both parties. And then, a time will be set for when the payment can be made, within the time period, or when the payment should be made and how the payment should be made. So it's important to note that, here, making payments through an escrow account is not that common. I mean, for people who bought properties in America or maybe in other countries, it's normal to pay the seller by paying the money into an escrow account, and after everything's organized and everything's kosher, then, the money can then be paid to the seller. This sort of prevents a situation where the seller gets paid and then they don't say what they're going to do based on the agreement, right? So here it's not so common, but it exists. So it's not common for people to want that, but you can request it, which is what we did. And we said, okay, we want to pay through an escrow, and the escrow account here typically is for that of the notary, right? And then you pay at the stipulated time to this escrow account if you choose to use that. And then, you get everything. The property gets registered, gets transferred to your name, and you pay, the transfer happens, and then you have another meeting again with the notary where you go through the details of the contract and things like that to be sure that everything's correct. And don't worry if you don't speak English, it's fine. The agent or the notary can organize an English translator, or maybe whatever language you speak, they would organize a translator for you. Yes, for a small fee, maybe 30 euros an hour or something. I guess that's what we paid. And they will be able to translate everything for you. Like when you go to the notary's office, there's a big TV screen, and the document is on that screen, and the notary will read out everything. The translator will translate everything, clause by clause by clause, and to make sure that you understand what's been written, to make sure that you understand what the document says, because clearly the document's going to be in Montenegrin, right? It's not going to be in English because this is not an English speaking country, right? So yeah, everything will be explained to you so that you understand what you're signing or what you get yourself into, so you understand the overall agreement. And after payment has been made, name transfers has been done, once the payment has been made and you bring the receipt to the notary and everything, a date will be organized for you to get your key and any other thing that you agreed on with the seller. For example, if you said, oh, I want you to fix this thing as part of the sales process, then they have to do that by the time they're handing you the key, and everything has to be done correctly. And yeah, once everything's good and you get your key, that's it. You own the place, and it's pretty straightforward. And of course, later you have to go to the cadastre to change the bills to your name and all these other processes that, the agent can also help you to give you information on how to do all those things in an efficient way and things like that. So it's a pretty straightforward process. Maybe I've never done this anywhere else. I haven't bought property in another country, so maybe it's the same process there or not. But yeah, pretty straightforward, and everything went pretty smoothly. So, after we purchased the property, now it comes time to actually start making plans to live in it. We purchased this property in August, and just to say, the whole process from viewing to signing of contracts and getting the key, it could take roughly 1 month, depending on the availability of the seller, depending on how quickly you pay the money for the property and all of those things, right? So roughly 1 month. I mean, also depending on the time that you say I will pay the money. Maybe you say, oh, I will pay in 3 months time or this and that. So that would determine the length. But ours took like roughly 1 month. And within 1 month, we had our keys at the end of August or so. And then it was like, okay, what do we do now? And brand new apartment from construction, there's no kitchen, there's certain things that we didn't like. For example, in the living room, because it's a big space and it's this modern style of kitchen and living area together, there were tiles separating the kitchen area from the living area. The living area had parquet and the kitchen area had tiles, and I hated that because it's like it just divides the space. I know it's quite practical because kitchen, things drop and things like that, water spills, whatever, but it just didn't look nice, and aesthetics are important, right? So these are little things that I wanted changed, and so we had to start the process of renovating so we can move in, right? Because there was no closets, no kitchen, nothing, right? So of course I have no experience with these things, and we decided to hire a designer, okay? And even though now I'm like, I will never do that again, but like I had such a great learning experience from that, okay? We paid the designer like 2,000 euros to make a sketch of everything that we wanted, to do drawings. Basically, it's like drawings for the kitchen, the changes we wanted made, the closet style, everything that we wanted. And it was great, to have someone do the drawings so that you don't have to start explaining to some carpenter what you wanted. But at the same time, it's like, okay, this designer is just gonna do the drawings for me, but they're not gonna help me get contractors, in the sense of, okay, even when the designer recommends contractors, you wouldn't necessarily get the best price per se, because in Montenegro it's a small country, everyone knows everyone. So if someone recommends someone else to you, it doesn't mean you will get the best price from that person. It just means that they're connecting you to someone they know and someone that can help you do the job. It doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna get a good deal for that. So I had to learn that. And I also learned that when you hire a designer here, they just do the drawings and that's it. They don't help you do anything else, in the sense of they don't help you get any contractors to do the project with you. Yes, they can recommend their people, but like I said, you don't necessarily get the best price. And so it was a very good learning experience to have that, to have someone do all the drawings for you, to have someone who you can probably ask certain questions. But if you hire a designer to help you with your apartment in Montenegro, don't expect them to do anything more than provide you with the drawings and a few recommendations here and there. So yeah, we used a designer to get the drawings for the closets, for the kitchen position, to do a style, to have a general idea of where we wanted what and what. And it was quite useful. I wouldn't do it again. But it was useful because then we had something to show the carpenter. And then, finding contractors, it's fairly easy, but you have to sort of pick and choose. If you're working with big companies for your renovations, then of course you will pay shit tons of money. For our renovations, we got offers from all these companies that would do everything for you and shit like that. And then it's like 20,000 euros for kitchen and closets. And it's like, oh my gosh, you could use that to like start saving for another property or something, right? And it's like so much money. But then we decided to go with local, not big companies per se, but like smaller companies that gave us a more affordable rate. So for example, something that would have cost us over 20,000 euros to renovate everything ended up costing us like 10,000 euros or less to do everything, So of course, cheaper is not always better, but you have to be smart about your rates and how you pick who to work with in that sense, right? So yeah, we had to really ask for certain recommendations and contact certain people who gave us the contact of some contractors. And, we painted the whole apartment again because we didn't like the colors. And we got a carpenter who was able to help us provide all the closets that we have right now. It took some time, of course, and yeah, we moved in December of 2022, and it's been nice, you know, living in your own place and not having to pay rent is like one of the best feelings ever. I mean, maybe I sound like a kid in a candy store, but like there's no feeling like that owning your own property and you know that no one can just come here and tell you to leave because you didn't pay a bill and stuff. And it also takes a bit of financial pressure from you in that sense, right? So I'm really, 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 really grateful for that. And yeah, the whole experience was really straightforward. It was interesting. I learned a lot, especially about design, because I mean, if you have every single thing installed in front of you, then you understand that there's so many parts to things, and just seeing a nicely designed place, it takes a lot of effort, and it also improves your decision making skills, you know, because you have to decide, what color do I want this to be, what color do I want that to be, what materials do I want, what this do I want. It's like so many things to decide on. But yeah, it's been pretty interesting, and I've learned so much from this process. And so yeah, that's basically my experience, you know, buying a property in Montenegro. You know, what do you think of it? Are you interested in purchasing a property in Montenegro? You know, are you, maybe I can leave some websites, you know, to help you search and see what's out there. But basically the whole process is pretty straightforward. If you don't speak the language, don't worry, that will be taken care of. And yeah, that is it. Now, you know, I'm living in my own place. I'm grateful for that. And yeah, if you found this video useful, don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to like it and, you know, share it with your friends. Turn on notifications so you know when I post new videos. And yeah, if you've watched until now, well, your attention span is all the way up. So thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time,